Hello everyone, this is Grandmaster Damian Lemos here for iChess.net and welcome to this new video where we'll be talking about endgames and some of the greatest endgames played by Carlsen. So let's get started. We know the endgames are probably one of the tough or if not the most difficult part of the game. When it comes to converting advantages, it's really tough. So I love the way Magnus plays endgames, and I think he makes a difference there. So the first game we are going to analyze is Carlsen against Bachier. This is from the Sinquefield Cup in 2015. So as you can see, we have an English defense. Black plays Queen c7. White here, he has Queen d3, b3. He also has Knight d5 displayed in this game. So soon we'll get an endgame, as you can see. Queen takes e4, check. Black now takes with the rook, and white castles. You're probably asking what happens if he plays bishop takes b7. This is a huge mistake. We still have the king in the center, and that means Black can play queen b4 check, so rook takes e8, white castles, and then black plays knight c6. As you can see, we are trading a lot of pieces off already, and for white we can say he has the bishop pair, and also we see an isolated pawn on d7 for black. So this may be a weakness we can exploit. White plays bishop b3. The more we trade, better for us, because the bishop pair plays pretty good in endgames, and we get the feeling the king there is a bit awkward. He should be, it should be on g8. f7 might be hanging in some variations. Suppose we move the knight, one day we can play bishop d5, and f7 would be hanging. So black tries getting his bishop pair back, and he does so by taking on e3. We take queen e6, and this position, to be honest, white looks better, but we have opposite color bishops. Black is one of the top players in the world. He should be able to hold this, but we'll see Carlsen increasing the pressure in this sort of positions. Knight d5, this is a great move already. If this, we have rook b1, we can simply take on b7. We keep on trading, but our pawn structure is better. And when we play knight d5, we are also trying to play a move like e3, stopping knight d4. See how white places his pawns on different squares than his bishop. So this is worth pointing out. Knight d5, okay, black decides to take, rook b1, bishop b5, and rook takes b7. Rook to b8, we keep on trading pieces off, and then e3. I mean, we have a better pawn structure, and now for black we can say his pieces are more active, so how can white win this? It is tough to know. a4, here black played knight e7. Each move black plays, I can tell he's closer to equalizing. And now white plays knight to f4. We have to look for some imbalance at some point. We could also take on e7, but then with the opposite color bishops, I think it should be an easy draw for black. We have some positions where the opposite color bishops favor the attacking side. The problem here is the only target I have is f7. d7 is not a target because he can easily play d6, and his rook is way too active. So I think this move is better, and here we get the imbalance we need. Black gives his bishop away. If he moves something else, first d7 is hanging, and if this, he might be in trouble. Knight d3, we have some tactics going on here. I can take on e5 and then on d7. And even after queen d6, I can play queen takes, followed by, not rook e1, rook d1, and d7 is hanging as well. So black has to take. I would love to play queen d4 check here, but then he's got bishop e5, so we take with the e pawn. See, now we also have the e file. It's like we are down a pawn, but that is not so. We want to take on d7, and the extra pawn on the king side is going to play. So we see black playing queen d6. Black is trying to defend in an active way, and I like that. If he plays something else, I mean, suppose he plays king here, stopping queen d4. I mean, we can still play queen d4, and yeah, both a7 and rook b2 are hanging. He cannot play rook b7. Suddenly, he has a clear disadvantage. Queen b6, queen takes d7, and okay, my bishop is much better than his knight, and I still have the extra pawn. So, okay, black plays queen b6. By doing this, he's also stopping queen d4. And let's see what Magnus did here. He played a5. This move is tough to understand at first sight. I mean, to be honest, I would take on d7 without even thinking, and then black plays something like queen c5. He's down a pawn, but I would guess his activity is what holds the balance in this position. Maybe we are slightly better as white, but we are passive and we cannot activate our rook. This move is much better. If he takes, we have queen d4 check, and we win material. So queen c5, queen takes c7, and okay, we have an improved version of the previous variation. We cannot take on a5 because we still have queen d4. This knight is also hanging, and what I see is he's going to play a6 soon. And this pawn cannot be underestimated because it is promoting on a light square. So black plays rook a2. I don't see any way of protecting the a5 pawn. If queen d8 check, he plays king g7. So white plays queen d3. King here. If rook takes a5, queen e2 is the idea, and believe it or not, we still have a great attack. We are invading on the d file, and it is not easy for black to coordinate his pieces. For instance, this, we play rook d1, and if rook b8, rook d7, this should be almost winning. Here we see why the king here is weak. It would be much better for black to have the king on g8. So this kind of maneuvers, queen d3, queen e2, and rook d1, those are the maneuvers making a difference in an endgame like this. Because if we are white here, we basically look for ways of defending the a5 pawn, which is impossible. So queen d3, okay, black, who's a talented player as well, doesn't take on a5, he improves the position of his king, and this is like bingo for us. We get our pawn protected, and worst scenario, we place our bishop on b7. So after some deep maneuvering, white got an extra pawn. We officially have an extra pawn in this position. Knight f5, queen e4, little by little, we improve our position. I would consider playing queen e5 at some point. Here Magnus, he plays queen b1. I wonder if this is possible. This knight takes, pawn takes, black has rook b2, and he gets the pawn back. This should be a draw. So, okay. No queen e5 yet. It might be a possibility later on in the game. Queen a1. This is improving our position as well, because he's not likely to play a move like queen d4. And if he plays this, Okay, he's not losing, but we have some squares to exploit. Bishop there. Another great move by white. See, he wants to play queen e5 one way or the other, but if we play it here, he plays rook b2 and he gets the pawn back. So we have to remove the bishop from b7. We don't need the bishop there anymore because that pawn is well protected and it's not being attacked by black. So knight f5 and now queen e5. Black here, he traded queens off. Maybe he has to stay with queens on to survive. As I said before, the counterplay he has is his activity, and he's got a better rook. If he keeps queens on board, his rook is also better. That being said, white still has a lot of pressure with bishop d5, trying to play queen e8. I'm sorry. Okay, so my voice is back. Queen e5. As I was saying, with queen b6, black keeps better chances. After trading queens off, I mean, the only one playing for a win is white here, and I'm really afraid about this pawn as black. He plays rook e2. If rook a2, I can play bishop b7, and little by little try improving my position. I even consider getting rid of my e5 pawn or trading it off. So rook e2, and here the best decision of the game, instead of playing f4, which is possible but gives black a lot of counterplay with knight e3. I mean, we are even in trouble here because we are under a pin, and I don't see how we can get rid of this. So instead of playing f4, allowing a lot of counterplay, Magnus sacrifices the e5 pawn, and we go after the queenside pawn with rook b1. Rook takes, rook b7, and okay, rook e1 check. Maybe this was the best move, but I think after rook e7 we have an easy win. Think about this, he cannot take the rook on b7, so our rook is way too annoying for black. Only thing we have to do is remove that defenders from rook e7. We play bishop h3, and he's in some kind of Sux one here. If rook takes b7, we take, and we promote. He cannot move the knight. If he plays king f8, we can take, and now we don't even have to trade rooks. To win the endgame, we just go after his kingside pawns, which are broken. So black played rook e1. He's trying to defend in an active way, and I like that because black knew rook e7 was a slow death. With rook e1, at least he's got better chances, or he's supposed to have better chances. As you can see, Bachir here, he's trying to do some magic on the king side. He's advancing his pawn, and now if we are not careful enough, he plays knight d4, knight f3, and then he mates us on f1. But Magnus plays rook d7, cutting this knight, and the a6 pawn advances, rook a1. Here, Magnus plays this move. This is a bit surprising because it allows this knight h4. a7 is also winning, but it looks like we'll have to play g4 sooner or later, because here we don't have a move to improve our position. If we play rook c7 or rook b7, then we are at risk, and if we move the rook on the d file, he takes the a7 pawn. So this move, despite allowing knight h4, we have rook d3, and we go after the h3 pawn. What I love about this maneuver is that this rook takes a6. Well, rook takes h3, I attack both the knight and the rook, but rook d8 check is much easier because I take the rook on the spot. So rook d3, knight here, we take, knight f4. So now we have two extra pawns as white, and after this, rook b3. Black's mating ideas are over, and then we can simply go for promoting on the queen side. Here Black decides to give up. An awesome game by Magnus, and remember, he played this against one of the top players in the world, so this is amazing stuff. We can learn a lot by analyzing endgames like this. So, okay, let's continue with our next example. Okay, so this is our second position. This is Magnus against Nakamura. This was played in Moscow Town Memorial in 2013. So White's last move, it was rook to f1. And as you can see, Black, he's under some huge pressure in this position. He's lucky to be controlling the f6 square and this massive pawn chain we have in the center is likely to be good. Not to mention Black is passive. So in this position, if I have to choose a plan for White, I would play knight c4 next, and then slowly advance my pawns. So Black looked for some counterplay by sacrificing material and playing rook takes e5, and suddenly we'll enter a tough endgame. Rook takes e5, obviously knight takes e5, we can take on e5, we can even play queen f6 check, but we basically win a piece. So Black plays queen takes c6. We are up an exchange, but we have to be careful because if we trade everything off, as you can see, he can try c4 plus b3 next, and the promoting square on b1 is being supported by his bishop, so this is dangerous. That being said, we have to move our rook. We could consider playing this, but it looks too risky because he can still take and play c4 next. Something like this, I would be concerned if I were White. So, just to see the variation again, rook takes, queen takes c6. The first great move by Magnus. We play rook e8. If we play an endgame, let's make sure we trade as much as we can. And we'll get rid of his rook as well. Queen takes f4, only move. In between, check, king there. Well, this is a funny and great move at the same time. If he takes with a knight, we take, and basically we stop Black from playing c4, and we are trying to play rook c4 ourselves. So he plays king here because the knight on d7 is going to be useful. Maybe he wants to fire with c4, and the knight on d7 is way much better than the knight on f8. The king is also heading to d6, so king g7, in fact, deserves an exclamation mark. So king takes f8, d6, nice move. Of course we want to advance this pawn, but we also want to stop the king e7, king d6 maneuver. If somehow reaches this position, I'm not sure if White is better anymore, to be honest. So d6, knight to e5, and here comes the most difficult move of the game. I recommend you pause the video here and try finding the best continuation for White. As you can see, he's trying to play king e8, king d7, and we don't have obvious ways of attacking his knight. In fact, he's controlling key squares, and he may have some queenside advance with c4 and b3. So take your time. Remember, he's got more than a single threat, king e8, c4. So I'll do a little pause of 5-10 seconds before I continue talking. In this position after knight e5, White's best move is bishop to f1. The key is, if he plays king e8, we can consider a move like bishop b5, check, stopping king d7, and of course here we stop c4. So bishop f1 is a great move. Maybe you thought about bishop e4, This move is quite risky because he simply plays king d7. We can take, takes, rook e4, f6, and if we play something else, he's simply fighting on the queen side too soon, in my opinion. I mean, too soon for our interest as white. So bishop f1 is much better. Maybe you considered bishop d5 as well, because this move does stop c4, but it doesn't stop king e8 plus king d7. So bishop f1, exclamation mark for white, bishop c2, and another great move by white, bishop b5. We cannot protect the pawn on b3. I mean, bishop c4, we don't gain much. He can just play king e8, go after the d6 pawn. Whenever he thinks is a good time, he'll take on c4, followed by bishop takes b3. So bishop b5, much better. The key is bishop takes b3. Here we have a winning move for white, which is tough to see beforehand. We have rook f5. He's not on time to advance his pawns, and when he moves a knight, we simply take on c5, and it's game over, because our d6 pawn is promoting as well. Maybe black can consider f6, but I take knight f7, d7, and okay, this guy is pretty close to promoting. Now, there's no way he stops. Rook takes c5. If this, I take on f7, and I promote the next move. So we see how tough it is to convert this position as white. I don't see many players converting like this as Magnus is doing in this position. In fact, some players would think white is not even better in this position after f5. But we play king c2, we bring the king. Now we are defending the b3 pawn somehow. So black plays c4. Now it is time to calculate for us. Can we take? I think we can. We take with the bishop, of course. Pawn takes b3, and we're in trouble. We have some counterplay, but I think he can simply promote, and our pawns are not strong enough. He can simply blockade them. If c6, he has bishop e4. Oof, okay. Yeah, never mind. In practice, we have to choose the practical moves. I mean, taking with the b-pawn doesn't make any sense. I take with the bishop. Now we'll see black's plan with bishop e4. Yeah, he's given a check. He wants to take, and he wants to advance the b-pawn as soon as possible. My question is, can he take on c4 maybe? We can take with the rook, and after this, check, followed by d7. So bishop takes, bishop e4, king up, knight takes, pawn takes, and okay, we have another mini puzzle here. Black plays king to e8. I mean, it is tough, because if you're black, you're tempted to advance. It's like, it's now or never. b3, we have rook f2, only move to win. Bishop c2, and here, I mean, it is not easy at all how to win this. I mean, he's promoting in 2 moves, and if we play rook f1, he plays b2 and b1. So the best way of winning this is to cut his king with rook e2. We'll let him promote, but we are promoting too. So that is the way white wins this. As you can see, what it looks like a simple endgame can be tricky, and it's always there's always room for making mistakes. So Nakamura, who's super talented, of course, saw this variation, bishop c2, rook e2, and that is why he tried king e8 first. So Magnus plays c5. Again, black has the chance of playing b3, and he doesn't play it. b3, rook f2. Now bishop c2. Difference is our pawns are way too advanced, and after b2, we can even check, we can play rook e2, we can play this, and after king d7, rook takes c2, and then we promote with check. So after c5, black tries bishop c6. It's never easy. He's blockading our 2 pawns, and he's likely to get 2 passers on the queen side. So let's see how Magnus finishes black off here. We take on f5, bishop takes. Little by little we can try entering via dark squares. That is a great idea because his bishop cannot control those squares, and just in case we are preparing rook a7 too. So bishop c6. Well, here, yeah, rook a7 is on the table, but he's got a4. Let's play a better move. I'll leave you the last move. You can find it. Take your time, and in 10-15 seconds I'll continue analyzing. So in this position, rook a7, I mean, this is possible. I mean, we're still winning. A4, those pawns are dangerous, but my biggest concern would be b3. And if this b2, no matter what I do here, I cannot stop black from promoting. So we have to avoid this kind of counterplay. Rook c7 is much, much better. When you're converting, pay attention to these kind of moves. Try attacking something. Don't give your opponent any room for creating initiative. Like here, rook a7 would be a huge mistake. Maybe it's still winning, but we don't have to give him the chance of playing b3. Now our rook has issues to stop the b3 pawn. We have to play the careful rook a6, trying to play rook b6. And we are just creating problems for us. So rook c7, we make sure we attack the bishop, and then it's pretty much over. If b3, we take b2, rook b6, and if this, we simply continue like this. We hit him first, so he has to move the bishop. But where? If he moves the bishop like b5 or a4, I can play c6 already. The same if he plays bishop d5. I play c6, he has to play something like this, check. I can even check him a couple of times. Rook b7 is winning, rook takes h7, no, that's not, because bishop takes c6. Careful, Damian. Okay, rook b7, let's see how to convert this one. I can play rook b7 too. If bishop takes, I win, and other than that, the threat of d7 plus rook b8 is winning. Okay, so I found the most practical way to win this. See, it's never easy. I even made a mistake while analyzing fast. So it could easily happen in a real game. That is why endgames are one of the most difficult parts of the game. As I said in the introduction, tough to convert your advantages, but we see Magnus doing so in a great way, in a great fashion. And this is just part 1. We have more examples coming, but of course it takes time to analyze them because we are talking about endgames. Usually in endgames we have a lot of variations to analyze. So that's all for this video. I hope you found this useful. I hope you could learn something, and of course I want to see you guys during my next chapters. Thank you.